Thank you, guys. First of all, First Branch Intern Project is something I wish I had when I was an intern. I wish it's been around for a much longer time than it has. You guys are so lucky to have this at your disposal, and congratulations again on an incredible Internapalooza. So my name's Tom Manatos. The reason my website's my name is because when I was on the Hill and I was a staff assistant, I'd been an intern and struggled to get an internship here. When you're a staffer, you get on all those internal email lists, and so I just started forwarding jobs to people I knew that were looking, and it became a thing that people said, oh, you have to get on Tom Manatos's email list. So I'm not incredibly into myself naming my website after my own name, but it was a thing that was people knew of when I was on the Hill. And then I fell in love and married a Republican on the other side of the aisle. She convinced me to create a website to make it nonpartisan and bipartisan. So what our goal is every day is to put as many jobs and internships out there on a free daily email, whether it's Capitol Hill jobs, private sector, nonprofit, campaign, on or off Hill internships. But throughout this 20 plus years of doing this, I've helped a lot of people find jobs and internships and learn a bunch about networking. So I wanted to share that with you today. There are a bunch of videos and resources on our website that are free. YouTube's on finding a Hill job, finding a job in the private sector, finding jobs in the communications realm, you name it. But one of those is the 11 networking tips that are key to your success in Washington, D.C. So number one, networking is that important. You all, I'm sure, are studying great stuff in school or have a great degree. No offense, no one cares about your degree and no one cares about what you studied in school. What they want to know is to hear about that you're a great worker, that you pay attention to detail, that you bust your butt as an intern so that they can hire you. And building a network of people that can advocate for you is the key. So it's about who you know, not necessarily like important people, but multiple people that could vouch for you, not necessarily what you know. Of course, what you know matters in your job, and of course, what you know will help you succeed longer term. I'm talking about getting that job or getting that internship. It's about who you know who can advocate for you. So consistently building your network. So how do you do that? You connect people based on your background. So say you're brand new to DC, you want to be a staff assistant one day, just ask yourself, what makes you you? For me personally, I'm a local. I grew up locally here. So if I was looking for a job or internship on the Hill, I'd find every local in DC that's actually from here, grew up here, and reach out to them and ask them. My family's Greek American or Greek Orthodox. My ethnicity, my religion, I would go find on every person on Capitol Hill that's Greek American. I find everyone that went to my undergrad. I would find any person that went to my grad school. It doesn't matter that I got a grad degree there. I find some people that went to that institution at the 4-year degree to law school. We're both to share that same community. Ethnicity, religion, race, you name it, fraternities and sororities, you find those people that share that common connection with you. Because even though people will respond in this town to a cold email saying, hey, I'm looking for a job on the Hill, would you mind getting coffee with me? They're a little bit more likely to say yes, and they're a little bit more likely to help you out further down the road if they share that common connection with you. You all probably know this because you're already interning on the Hill, but of course, hometown and home state is the ace in the hole for you. If you're able to get somebody in your congressperson's office or in your senator's office to advocate for you, have an interest in you, they're so much more likely to hire you based off your hometown connection. Continue to build that network. So when you're finding a job or internship, it's real busy. You're building this network of all these people you would know, but then once you get that job, you kind of turn it off and focus on that job. I was fortunate enough to be with Ms. Pelosi for 9 years. I forgot to keep doing this. And when I went to the Obama campaign, we won, and then I was out of a job after the campaign for 4 or 5 months. I didn't have that database of people that I could rely upon because I hadn't been continually networking and keeping track of all those people I was networking. So please don't make that same mistake that I did. Don't be shy. When you're at a reception or you're at a briefing, go up and talk to people. At a reception, don't talk to the people that you already know. Go introduce yourself. Case in point, I was at a reception last night. This young woman approached my colleague and I and said, hey, I'm an intern on the Small Business Committee. Turns out she had no idea that I run this service, and so I'm getting coffee with her, and she's a law student she was impressed me so much that I'm dedicated to try to find her a job soon. So you never know who you'll meet. It's a pay it forward town. As a previous speaker said, everyone was an intern. Everyone was in your shoes. Everyone who has a job of prominence had people help them get that first job and second job and third job. So don't be shy. Everyone's used to this way of things working here. When you've networked to somebody for informational coffee, you do a couple things. Number one, ask them about themselves to learn about their experience. Number two, thank them for their time. Everyone in this town thinks they're the busiest person in this town. So be grateful and thank them for their time. Always send a thank you note. Every single time, if you're in the process of a job search or an internship search, when you send that thank you email, always attach your resume. Every single time, because you never know. I've had a lot of people say to me, oh, I wasn't looking for a job, but our office wasn't looking for a job, but I had coffee with this young woman, and my chief of staff came up to me and said, hey, I don't want to post a job on Tom Manatos jobs. I'll get 1 million resumes. Do you know anyone looking? And I forwarded that resume from that internship seeker who thanked me, and that person got an interview and got the job. So you never know. Also, at the end of every one of those conversations, you've got to grow that network. So say you've reached out to someone based off your hometown, your college, your ethnicity, your religion, your fraternity, sorority. That's going to lead you to another lead. That's going to lead to this huge web of people. You want to continue to grow that web. So how do you do that? You say, in that thank you email, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I've learned so much from your path to where you are today. Attaches my resume. Would you mind putting me in touch with that person we talked about? Because at every one of those conversations, you're going to say, is there someone else you'd suggest I reach out to? Even if your interest in the conversation, say it talks about you want to get into environmental policy, and that might be the lead. Or you say, you know what, do you know anyone else from Oklahoma City? Oh yeah, my friend's here who's working in this senator's office, but they're not from Oklahoma, but I'll put you in touch with them so you guys share the same background. Attaching your resume to that email makes it so much more easier for that individual to send it to that person and ask them to get coffee. You got to stay organized. Use a Google sheet, a spreadsheet, Excel sheet, whatever. Keep notes on the name of the people you meet with, a little bit of background, where they work currently, and their email and cell phone number if you get it. And also some notes from the conversation. You can find out that I'm a crazy DC sports fan, so that if you want an excuse to reach out to me in the case of your job search, you can say, hey Tom, saw the Washington football team won another game, you must be thrilled. Oh, by the way, I've applied for this job in Barbara Lee's office. Do you know anyone in that office? So it gives you context and reason to reach back out to that person, even if you're not asking them for a favor, just to keep that relationship fresh. So keep organized with all that information. Be persistent up to the line of being annoying. The most successful people in this town are the most persistent people, yet succeed at not being annoying. And that's hard. Ask around. How often should I email Amy after I've gotten coffee with her? How frequently should I email Ola if I'm pestering him to try to find me a job? Take a survey of people in the people that you respect and some of your mentors to ask. But be persistent. Consistently be persistent. I already covered sending thank you notes. And I already covered never stop networking. Also, use social media appropriately. There are professional-ish types of social media, probably Twitter, LinkedIn. Your guys' generations handles a little bit differently, so I yield to you, but I would just refrain from connecting with people on more of a personal platform that your generation would consider personal. For my generation, it's like Instagram or Facebook. Like, I'm on Facebook, but like if it was Instagram and it's someone I just got coffee with, them friending me on Instagram is probably like, I post pictures of my kids. Like, I don't want this random person taking pictures of my kids. But LinkedIn and Twitter are totally appropriate. And actually, that would help me as the person helping you. If I've lost your email, I could connect you on LinkedIn and send you a message on LinkedIn or Twitter saying, hey, I just saw this job posting for you. Lastly, a couple things. DC is a small town. Number one, be nice to everyone. There's no reason to be nasty to people. The people that succeed most in this town do hard work, pay attention to detail, and are nice to people. If you, despite your frustration, despite your anger towards someone, it's never worth it. We've all seen it time and time again in this town. People's careers stop or slow because they're perceived as being difficult to work with. It's not worth it. Number two, be nice to your interns. I have many different interns of me who are more senior than me. I know people who are lobbyists who have to lobby their former interns who are members of Congress. Be nice to your interns, and also pay it forward. Do what to other folks that you would want to be done unto you. I was always very grateful for the time people gave me when I was an intern or I was a junior staffer trying to look for jobs. I continually be grateful for my mentors and the people that helped me. Always pay it forward and be nice to people and continue to treat people the way you want to be treated. And lastly, this town is about keeping your context fresh, keeping the long game in your mind. So when I look for a job, I don't say, what job do I want next? I say, what is my dream job in 2 and 5 years? Because my next job is going to get me to that dream job in 2 and 5 years. Case in point, perfectly my example. I left Capitol Hill after 9 years with the speaker and leader and a year and a half of the DNC. I couldn't get in the Obama administration's second term, so I was going to go to the private sector. I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? I was thinking of 2 different types of industries. One being energy and tech that interests me. And this is before tech had a negative connotation as it does today. And so I had a great job lined up for an in-house energy lobbyist, and a great job at a trade association that was just starting. It was less stable, but it was all the trade association for the internet companies. And I was told by my mentors, go for the job that's going to help you get your dream job. And my dream job eventually was to go to a cool company, whether it's energy or tech, and run the DC office. So I picked a trade association that was helping all the internet companies come to DC at the time. So I helped register the first Twitter lobbyists. I helped onboard the Lyft team when they came to DC from that trade association. Well, I was lucky enough to open up Spotify's government relations office and was with Spotify for 6 years and saw a company go from a startup to post IPO. And that's all because I had the foresight people told me is to think 2 steps ahead. And now I'm lucky enough to be at a fintech company like Block. So always think 2 steps ahead. If you want to be an LD one day, go talk to a bunch of LDs about what they should do. I think you should do as your first step. If you want to be a chief of staff one day, go talk to a bunch of chiefs of staff who would give you advice to get there, and always take a couple steps forward. But going back to all this, it's all about networking. The people that have hired me have heard from multiple people that I've worked with or experienced my work in the past, and that'll be the key to success. Also, I love this. This is my passion. This is my hobby. If anyone wants to get coffee with me when you're in town, I'd love to help you think about your career. It's just my first initial last name at gmail.com is my email. It might take a while for me to schedule time with you because I'm headed out of the country with my family soon. But it's just tmanatos@gmail.com. And I'd love to grab coffee with you to help you think through your career. Thanks.